So, Shamli, first of all, I want to congratulate you on getting into this prestigious program at HSC, and we are so excited to hear about the entire process and the journey that you had to take to get into this program.
Thank you, Smita. Thank you so much for having me here.
So, let's start with the beginning. What is the requirement like for the program? Do you need to give a particular exam? How do you get into it?
So the process is pretty much very simple. First, you have to write GMAT, and then you have to fill their application form. And after application form, and along with that, the essays, they will shortlist you for interviews, and there will be 2 rounds of interviews. And post interview, you will get within a week or so, you will get the final result, whether you are in or not.
But that I think depends on whether you get selected or not.
Yeah, exactly.
So let's
Yes.
start with the beginning. So you gave your GMAT and you got a good score. What is the average score like for getting into HGC?
So the average score is around 690.
Okay.
And whether you are getting a score less than 690 or more than 690, you can offset it with good profile. So the work ex and what kind of job that you do and your extracurricular activities, everything counts there. So
Okay.
it's not only the
So
score
sort of like
matters.
that, you can anchor your GMAT somewhere around 690, maybe 10-20 marks lower, 10-20 marks higher,
Yeah.
given that other things are also good enough.
Exactly. So 690 is the average score, and the range is around 650, 640 to 770, 780. So they have very diverse range of profiles and score.
And is there any particular minimum criteria for the work experience?
Not exactly. I guess 2 to 3 years of minimum work ex is required, and the average work experience is around 5.6 years.
So the minimum work ex that is required to apply to this program is 2 years. Freshers cannot
2 to 3 years, but I guess you should check the website. You'll get an exact
Okay.
idea about the minimum.
But freshers are not eligible for the program, right?
No.
Okay.
Not zero.
Okay. So let's take it as probably 2 to 3 years is
Yeah.
the range. And can you tell us a bit about your background, what you have done before, and why you are going for this program?
So I have done BTech in information technology, and post that I have worked with Accenture for 2.5 years, and then I went to this amazing program called Vedika Scholars Program for Women. So this is MBA along with some liberal arts and personal development. So this was 18 months course, and post Vedika I joined MaxSkill First, which is a subsidiary of Max Group, as assistant manager in strategy and governance, and I worked there for 2 years, and then I applied for MBA at HEC.
So in total, you have somewhere around 5 years of experience.
4.5 years.
Okay. And so you had your work experience, you had your GMAT score, and then you applied to HEC. What was the rest of the process like? How many essays were required? Was a SOP also required? Recommendation was there? What was the process like?
So in their application form, so their application form was very much extensive, and the questions that they asked about your extracurricular activities and your hobbies, everything. So it covered everything, like literally everything. For example, in your extracurricular activities, they will give you a space for around 4 to 5 hobbies that you can write about, and along with that, they will also give you a space for explain those activities. You just won't be writing that I'm interested in painting or dancing or anything else. You also have a space to write down your achievement in that particular area. So that's a very good point I saw in that application process. So
Did you highlight your achievements in dance?
Yeah, I did. I guess that was one of the very important key point and point of discussion during my interview. So yeah.
So if students feel that anything that might add to value to their profile, it may not be related to the career that they want to take, which may make them seem interesting. These are the areas in the application form they can use to write about them.
Yeah, exactly. And it will diversify your profile, because everyone that whoever applies there is a person with good GMAT score or very good profile. So what exactly differentiate you from the other people? So these area where you can really
So
use.
what are some of the points that you use to distinguish yourself in?
So I highlighted my interest in dancing. So I'm a Kathak dancer and I have performed at multiple platforms. So that I used, and apart from that, I'm also CFA level 1, and this year I'll be writing CFA level 2. So that was another point that I highlighted, and along with that, I have also done multiple what do you say volunteer experiences I have. So I highlighted that as well.
Okay, great, amazing. And then coming down to the essays, what were the questions for the essays? How many essays were there? What was the word limit? What did you write in them?
So there were 5 essays, and there's-
5 essays?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah. So there was no SOP as such. So we had to write 5 essays, and there was one optional essay which was just to ask if there is anything else that is not being captured in the entire application process, and if there is anything that you want to highlight or let the application admission team want to know. So you can have mention those points in that optional essays. So in total 6, 5 mandatory and 1 optional.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Did you attempt the optional also?
Yeah, of course.
Oh
If
my
they're giving you
God.
some space extra, you can of course use
What was
it.
the word limit for each of the essays?
So those essays were small only, not very large. So I guess few were 250 words, and few were 500 words, few were 600.
About all these essays, you said there were 5 essay and one was the optional one, which we already discussed. Let's talk about the first essay now.
The first essay asked me about my post MBA goals, why I wanted to do MBA, and why HEC. So in that I talked about what I exactly want to do and after MBA, and how HEC will be helping me in achieving my dreams. And for example, their clubs, they have multiple clubs and across the domains. For example, they have consulting clubs, they have energy club, they have wine club, wine. So I talked about all these clubs, and they have amazing bunch of profs. So I talked about them. So this was the first essay, and then second essay was about my most significant life achievement. So in that I talked about my background, financial background, and the place from where I come from, and how
Like a very small town in Bihar.
exactly.
And yeah.
So how coming from that kind of place, and the
With
struggles,
limited opportunity,
Exposure,
limited exposure.
and then applying to HEC. So this entire journey in itself was a big achievement for me. So that was a highlight of this particular essay. And then third essay was about a life different from what I'm leading right now. So since I'm very passionate about dance, so this was the centerpiece of the entire essay.
And what was the fourth one?
Fourth one was about it asked me to pick one person whom I admire the most from any field, any domain. So in this essay, I wrote about my shadow mentor from Vedika, Miss Urvit Khurana. So she was, I admire her the
CFO
most.
of Starboard.
Yeah, that time she was director of finance for South Asia at Starwood Hotels, now married.
Okay.
I
So
spoke
you
about-
talked about what you learned from her and
Exactly.
What was the final essay about?
And this one was about one ethical dilemma that I have faced in my life, and how I overcome that particular challenge. So in this essay, I wrote about one incident from my workplace, where one very senior person asked me to do something which was against the corporate governance, and how I tackled that situation and handled everything was what I wrote about.
Amazing. And then, how much time did it take to complete all these essays and the very elaborate and extensive application form? How long did it take?
So I guess it took me more than a month to write the entire essay and fill in the application form, because the application form in itself is very extensive and it requires lot of writing, and I didn't want to just turn in something random. So I wrote it, and then I asked my few friends to review it and give me some feedback, and then I revised everything as per the feedback. And there must be a storyline around which you will weave entire answers, essays, everything. So that first I decided that particular elevator pitch, you can say, or that center idea, and then I wrote application and essays around that. And I guess it took me more than a month to
And was there any recommendation also required? What was recommendations like? How many recommendations were there?
So 2 recommendations were required. So all I had to do was to just give them the email IDs of my recommenders, and they asked her to fill in the
And
form.
both the recommendations were from work seniors or from academics also did you opt for?
So they didn't ask me any particular format or any particular person for the recommendation, but I thought it's good to have one from work and one from academics to maintain the balance. So I asked my manager to write recommendation for me, and I also asked one of my founding team of Vedika to write recommendation for me. So that was the recommendation process.
And these were the entire set of things that were required for the application, and then you submitted the application.
Yeah, exactly. Yes.
And how long after the submission did you hear back from them for an interview?
So I guess within 15 days I got an email from me. 15 days is would be, I say, the maximum time.
Okay.
They are very
Interesting.
prompt with their replies and the response. They are very prompt with it.
Lot of reduced nervous nights.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So in 15 days you got the call for the interview.
Yeah. So the process is they will send you an email mentioning that you have been shortlisted for the interview round, and then they will share the details of the interviewers, and then you have to coordinate with these interviewers to schedule your interviews as per your own time and their availability. So
Okay,
that's one of
interesting.
the
Then
very
college
best
is not involved in
Yeah,
scheduling.
exactly.
That is something very interesting. A lot of MBA schools don't do that. This is
Yeah.
something new that I came to know about.
Exactly, and I guess that this was a very good practice because it gave me flexibility to manage my work and the interviews. Otherwise, if they have some rigid time or rigid date, then I would have to take a leave from work or
Yeah.
manage somehow as per that particular date. But here we have to
Yeah.
arrange the meetings.